Great cellar.
Do you like that? Cool, man. Yeah, that's
Insanely cool, man.
That's inside the cellar at Maker's Mark.
That's insanely cool. Yeah.
Del Chihuly, big boy. It's Del Chihuly.
Tommy, feel free to give an update on some of the dockside market stuff as well when we get started.
Okay.
Updates from fishermen right now. I hear they're really struggling without restaurants.
Yeah. Yeah, we got it all.
Sam, you should come down to Point Loma and get some crabs.
Tommy, is that your business that's doing that? That deal looks incredible for Friday. Is that you guys?
Yeah, I'm hustling, helping out a couple of fishermen, just doing everything we can to,
Man,
let these guys go and fishing, man.
Yeah.
People
No,
got to.
It looks incredible. Yeah, definitely talk about that because I've had a couple of my friends send it to me and just say like, oh my gosh, I'm excited for this.
It's changed the market. It's changed the public perception on what seafood really is. It's allowed us to put face with the fish.
I love that.
Yeah. It's been a game changer, and it's gonna really pay off for all fishermen on all coasts.
Nice.
Hi everyone, welcome. For the folks who are just logging in, feel free to introduce yourself in the chat and share where you're coming from and your favorite quarantine dish that you've made. James, baked potatoes, that's really your biggest highlight? All right.
Is that Sam that said that?
Nope, one of our staff, James, having the time to bake a potato. I like it. Ooh.
Nice.
And Daigo from Del Mar made shakshuka. Ooh, vegetarian enchilada. Yeah.
One minute, you guys.
1 minute.
1 minute. Mary Beth, I love your cocktail.
We've got some bakers. Hopefully that means that they finally had yeast and baking soda in the grocery stores. Ooh, home fried chicken. Oh, didn't turn out so hot.
No.
I can say that it's sure making me grateful for restaurants and how well they cook.
We are ready to go. It is 5:30.
Okay, I'm gonna give it 1 more minute for a couple folks logging in right now, and then we'll get started in 1 minute. We've got someone making vegan-based lentil soup until the prosciutto jumps in. Love that. I'm a vegetarian except for Monday.
Except for what?
Just Mondays or Tuesdays. You know.
Well, sometimes Thursday.
That's funny.
All right. Can I take us off?
Go, Aviva, go.
Wonderful. All right, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our virtual Dinners for Good. We're really excited to have the second dinner and have so many join us. I was skeptical about hosting 100 people in my kitchen, but here we are. We threw this together a few weeks ago as a way for us to bring our community together, enjoy each other's company, and also rejoice in gratitude and deliciousness for the food that we get to eat. And it's also an opportunity for us to highlight our work at Kitchens for Good. I don't think I introduced myself. I'm Aviva. I'm the co-founder and senior director of Kitchens for Good. And when this COVID-19 crisis got started, really quickly to respond to the community needs for food assistance. And we worked to ramp up our hunger relief meal program to support the many in our community who are struggling right now. And within just a couple of weeks, we ramped up to over 7,000 meals a week for our community. These heat and eat delicious and nutritious meals are being distributed at the San Diego Food Bank and through our grab and go meal distribution. And so while tonight we're going to be kind of enjoying all of the bounty that we have in our pantries, I think it's really important and sobering to remember that there are so many in our community right now that are really struggling to put food on their table. And we're seeing so many, so much need in our community as our lines at our distribution continue to grow. Just this past week, we served over 2,500 individuals, and that includes over 1,000 children through our meal distribution. And so I want to take a moment and really thank all of you that donated when you registered for this event. That money really goes to help support our expanded meal program and to help support our culinary students. As many of you know, we operate a robust culinary apprenticeship program for men and women who are coming out of prison, homelessness, and foster care. And we're working really hard to support our students and alumni through online learning, through connecting them with resources and providing that support. So thank you all so much for donating, and I hope you continue to do so. So first, I just want to introduce you guys to how this is going to work. So we're going to be tossing it back and forth between our different guest chefs. And with Zoom, feel free to throw in your questions into the chat box and we'll try and ask those. Also, feel free to donate during the show as well. It goes a long way to support our work. And so to kick it off, I'm going to introduce our amazing lineup. First, we've got incredible Tommy the Fishmonger. Tommy Gomes has been a longtime supporter of Kitchen.
Hey, hello everybody. Aviva, how's things going? Sam, Trevor, you guys ready for this?
Yeah.
Oh, we're ready.
Wait, it's tonight?
No, this is just a pre-run, Sam.
Good. Okay, good. Good. That's perfect.
We're not live or anything like that, so you know.
Good.
You can take your shoes off, like in that one video that somebody said something, you're cooking without your shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so another virtual dinner at Kitchens for Good. You know, Aviva, some of the things you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of hard work that goes in down here at Kitchens for Good. Extremely talented group of people. And maybe San Diego doesn't know this, and so we need to get it out, is since March 30th, Kitchens for Good has given out over 18,000 meals, and that's done only 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So hats off to everybody in the team involved at Kitchens for Good and all the vendors that are donating supplies and everything to keep this going during this whole pandemic. It's absolutely a wonderful, wonderful thing to be involved in this. And we're going to keep going and keep producing as much as we can. Right, Sam?
Thomas, I agree with everything that you've said.
Finally.
The cooking
But
guy.
it took a Kitchens for Good event for us to agree.
Mark it down on your calendar that Sam finally agreed with one thing I've said. I love you.
Love you too, man. Look, I'll introduce myself next. I'm Sam Zion, Sam the cooking guy. And look, like Tommy, like Trevor, like all of you, we're here because we believe in the organization. We believe in what they're doing. Look, we believed in Kitchens for Good before the coronavirus. They were doing unbelievable work. I'm proud to say that at Not Not Tacos, we have a Kitchens for Good graduate, Linda, that is absolutely tremendous. And look, they're giving people opportunities, I think, when they would not have opportunities like this. They take people out of difficult situations and they train them to work in our world. And yes, our world looks different now, but they do an amazing job with it. And now they've transitioned from that part to feeding people because of the virus. So if you have a few extra dollars in your pocket, we're not going to do the hard sell, but there's a mechanism somewhere on the screen that allows you to donate. And just know that Kitchens for Good are amazing stewards of the money. They do the right things with it, and anything you've got, they'd be happy to take. In fact, they'd probably, Aviva, correct me if I'm wrong, you'd be happy to take everything that people have got, right? But you're not asking for that much. Anyway, that's it.
All right, and finally, we've got the amazing Trevor from Maker's Mark, who's actually going to kick us off and introduce himself and where he's at, and start us off with a cocktail.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and thank you so much. I mean, to be part of this, I absolutely love everything that you guys do. The first time that I was involved with Kitchens for Good was during one of your Wasted events, and I'm a huge fan of taking things and being sustainable. So I love that your entire business has that element too, and the fact that you raise that amount of money. Usually you're just helping just everyone in need, and now there's more people in need. So the fact that you guys are doing that and having us be a part of it is great. I'm actually standing inside one of the cellars at Maker's Mark where we age, and then it's actually where you finish your tour. So we're gonna finish our tour at Maker's Mark, and then we're gonna dive in and we're gonna make a cocktail. So I'm gonna flip my screen around. Sam, Tommy, we're not gonna mute you. So if you have any questions during this too, then hopefully you guys are ready to also make a cocktail.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool.
All right.
Is this set up also at the Maker's Mark headquarters?
That's their
No,
kitchen.
I think their home bar is is actually a little bit nicer than mine, weirdly enough. So how's it going? Can you guys see everything okay?
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. So I partnered with Collins and Coop, who are absolutely incredible. They are a cocktail supply store. Gary and Logan are the owners. So if you reached out and if you were able to order the cocktail kit, it came with shaker tins, and then it also came with a strainer. You were going to have a little bit of orgeat as well, and then you were also going to have Angostura bitters, and then you're going to have a jigger. And then if you ordered on Drizzly, you should have gotten a bottle of Maker's 46 delivered straight to your door. If you didn't get those things, that is totally fine. If you don't have orgeat, you can totally do simple syrup, or you can do honey. So if you have any of those things as well, you can definitely do that. If you only had limes, that's fine. We're going to use lemon, but again, if you have any questions as you're diving in, and then feel free to like see that. Yeah. What's up, Sam?
Yes, could you explain what orgeat is, and B, how to spell it so people know what the hell's going on? Because nobody could pronounce it like that from just looking at the words.
Everyone just says orgeat, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So it's actually so this here, in case you hadn't, so it's actually an almond cordial. So it's a French word, and originally it was actually made from barley. So I've experimented a little bit. I've actually made so you basically take almonds, you meal them down, kind of making like an almond, like syrupy, like milk, and then you add a little bit of like almond extract as well. So it's a really, really cool sweetener. It's most of the orgeats that you'll see out there don't have any alcohol in it. It's a great sweetener for coffee as well. I love using it. It's a very tropical thing. Probably the most popular cocktail that uses orgeat is going to be, again, like a lot of people say, orgeat, is going to be the Mai Tai. So if you're a fan of the Mai Tai, you should definitely pick up some orgeat. Did that answer your question? Was that good?
Yeah, it did. Yes.
Awesome. Sam,
One
I'm here
more
for you.
sophisticated bartender trick item to make you guys feel superior and make the rest of us feel like dum-dums.
Hey, I mean, I'm definitely not called Trevor the bartender guy. I think that I would get sued for that. So I think you'd come after me. So we're going to dive in. If you have your cocktail tins at home, we're going to go a little bit like 101. So say if you're making your tin and you have your tins at home, you always want to put the smallest tin closest to you. And then you're going to put the larger tin further away. So directly just shoot, just like that. The reason for this is that we're going to put all of our ingredients into our small tin. And say, right, it's a Thursday night, we're really busy, maybe you're at home and someone's to come home from grocery shopping, they're really stressed out, and you're moving quickly, and you might knock over this large tin, right? This large tin is just like Sam. It's very tall and slender and very easy to knock over after a drink, where the small tin is gonna be a little bit heavier set like myself, and after a few cocktails, you still won't be able to knock me over. So you always wanna put all your ingredients into the small tin because it has a better, lower sense of gravity, and it's definitely not Canadian. So the first ingredient that we're going to be able to start, Sam, besides the bare naked ladies, you're my favorite Canadian.
I love you.
And
By the way, thank you for making me the taller, the thinner one of the two. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. I mean, this camera I think is doing wonders for me, but it's you know, I mean, you're taller and thinner, but Tommy's the attractive one. You know what I mean?
That we've
Yeah.
all known that forever.
All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start with our lemon juice if you have it. We have our jigger. We're gonna use the larger side, and we're gonna look for the side of the jigger that's 3/4 of an ounce. Okay, so 3/4 of an ounce, we have our lemon juice. If you haven't done your lemon juice yet, that's totally fine. I'm an awful home bartender, and I never have enough like stuff, so I don't even have a juicer here. I never really drink at home. So you can always cut your lemons in half, and then you can also just squeeze them like onto the side. So if you need a second to be able to like juice in case you already haven't, feel free to do that. So again, like I usually just use a mason jar and squeeze on the side. And then I'll use a strainer like so with your cocktail strainer, just to be able to get the seeds out. So starting with 3/4 an ounce, whenever we're bartending, we always want to use our cheapest ingredient first. So say if we're going through and we're reading our ingredients and all of a sudden we add in like that really expensive whiskey and then we add in something else and then it ruins the whole drink. So you always want to start with your cheapest ingredient and then build up to your most expensive. In this case, it's going to be our lemon juice.
Okay,
So,
that's amazing. That's an amazing piece of information. It really is.
yeah,
But here's my question. Are
Yeah.
recipes, like the cooking recipes are written, the ingredients in order that you use them?
Yes.
Are cocktail recipes written with the most expensive at the
Always.
end?
Yeah. No, it's always the most expensive at the top because it's like, usually if it's a cocktail, it's a brand that wants you to read a cocktail recipe. So for example, right, even the recipe that I sent Danny that you're going to get after this it says 2 ounces of Maker's 46, right? So it those up to the top, but you always want to use your cheapest ingredient first, just in case you mess up, right?
That's amazing. That's a good piece of information.
What's
Trevor,
up?
we have a quick question. So
Yeah.
can you add almond extract to simple syrup?
Yes, you totally can. Be super careful with that. It's not going to give the same flavor and it's not going to give the same like texture. If you do a simple syrup and you have brown sugar and you have just regular like white baking sugar, if you have a homemade orgeat, it's actually really cool to blend the two together. So what you can do is you can take white sugar and then you can do a cup and then equal those together. And that brown sugar is really going to give it this beautiful, like incredible texture. But yeah, great question. And then you add a little bit of that almond extract. The same way of using vanilla extract, you only want to use a little bit.
Can you use amaretto?
Yeah, for sure. So amaretto is going to already have alcohol in it. So if you want an extremely boozy drink, I love whoever's asking this question, do it. Feel free to use amaretto. It's going to be, you might want to up the lemon juice a little bit, but because orgeat traditionally doesn't have alcohol in it, amaretto does. But maybe you'll just go home early tonight, you know, and you won't have time to watch the new season of Ozark. You'll just pass out. Or you'll just drink too much and then you'll like donate even more than you already were. So maybe, yes, everyone should just be using amaretto. Great question. So we're going to be using 3/4 of an ounce. So that's the 3-4 OZ in case we have our jigger at home. We're in here. And again, we're always going to pour into our small tin. When you pour, I'll kind of like show it this. A lot of people, they kind of measure here and they think they're going to, but you'll usually miss it. So it's always better to go here, especially if you're just bartending at home. And then it's a quick one like this. I think you'll see a lot of bartenders, they'll do the pull and they'll do like, you know, like all this, I think it's kind of like a waste, especially if you're at home. Maybe it's nice if you're at a bar and you're like spending that extra money and you want to see that flair. But if you're at home, just take the time to do it right. You're the one drinking, unless you have a date over. Maybe you're trying to impress them. If you're tuning in just so you can get cocktail and cooking tips for a date, then hopefully you're doing a Zoom date, right? You shouldn't just be inviting people over. But if that person also donated, then maybe they're the right person to bring over. So again, we're doing 3/4 of an ounce of our lemon juice. And then we're either using our amaretto or we're going to be using the orgeat from Collins and Coop. And we're going to be doing a 1/2 ounce in here. So if you look on the large side that we use, there's actually no marker for 1/2 ounce. But if you flip it over, there is going to be that 1/2 ounce on the smaller side. Taking our orgeat.
If we don't have one of those, what is that in terms of like a normal shot glass?
And a normal shot glass, I just never, I'm again, like I grew up in a weird time where I just went straight to craft cocktails. So like the first time that someone asked me to make a Long Island iced tea, I had no idea how to make it. I think I actually put tea in the drink. So, which you don't. So I don't know, we can do this. So 3/4 of an ounce, I actually have, just in case that question came up, I do have teaspoon and 1/2 teaspoon. This 1/2 ounce looks like, to me, it looks like about 1/2 teaspoon. Let's see if that's actually right. Okay, cool. So good to know. 1/2 an ounce is actually 1 full tablespoon.
Tablespoon?
Whoa. Tablespoon.
Okay.
Yep. Cool.
Let's not forget, there's a slight difference between wet and dry measurements. Just saying.
That's a good point. I appreciate you bringing
Not
that up.
to get too wrapped up in that, but.
No, for sure. I think that's a good call out. The other thing that I say with this too is that if you're making drink at home, probably the best thing to do would be to do 3 parts of your alcohol and then 1 part sweetener, 1 part of like your acidity. So if you don't have, if all you're only measuring is like a pint glass at home, then yeah, do 3 pints of Maker's 406 and then do 1 pint of sweetener and then 1 pint of like your sour. And then that's going to be at least somewhat balanced, right? You want to balance your acidity with your sweetness.
Then you'll have a gallon of drink.
Yes, exactly. You'll be good. You'll be prepped for the weekend, right? Perfect. So we've added those 2 ingredients, right? We've done our 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice, and we've also done our 1/2 an ounce of orgeat. Next, we're going to do our Angostura bitters. So Angostura bitters got really, really popular. They're from Trinidad and Tobago with the old fashioned. A lot of people relate them to the old fashioned, but it's cool that they actually have this really great tiki vibe, right? Because they're from Trinidad. So these do stain clothes and they're going to stain your countertop. So that's why I always have a mat like this. So if you want to lay down a towel, that's good. And then when we say dashes, some people, what they'll do is that they'll just kind of like, they'll measure it like a drops like this. I need you to commit, okay? Just need you to really commit to it. So we're going to take this and then those are full dashes and we're going to do 6 of those. If you do 7, that's fine. If you do 5, add another one for fun.
You only did 5. You
I
only
only
did
did 5? Stop it. I thought the first
It's new
one
math.
counted. Is that good? You guys are so good at keeping me on my toes. I
By the
can't
way,
wait to
can I
call
just
you out on
say-
your cooking.
Can I just say that a little definition? Angostura bitters, if I'm not mistaken, for people that
Yes,
don't
sir.
know, are essentially a vegetable extract. Is that right?
No. So I
What
mean,
is it then? Well, tell people.
Oh.
Don't just say use it. Tell them what it is,
So-
because who the hell knows what it is?
Yeah, for sure. So Angostura bitters legally is a food product, so you can kind of buy it anywhere, but it's actually super high proof alcohol. It's almost the exact same thing as vanilla extract, right? Like vanilla extract, if you drink a bottle, you probably actually get drunk off that. Angostura bitters is super high proof rum, and then it's done with Caribbean spices. So you have a lot of that allspice in it. So in all honesty, don't think there's any vegetables in Angostura, but it's basically like an infusion. Very, very similar to vanilla.
See, now I may have asked a stupid question, but I got to an important point that you needed to bring out that you didn't bring out until I asked. So carry on.
Sam, I'm disappointed that during my entire bartending career that you never sat at a bar, because I wish that this would have happened every night when I was bartending. It would have been good. And Tommy
I
got
asked a lot
bored,
of
so he
good
had to
questions.
leave. So the next one that we're gonna do is gonna be doing our 2 full ounces of Maker's 46. So again, we've done 3/4 of an ounce of lemon. We've done 1/2 an ounce of orgeat or amaretto if you're trying to get crazy tonight. We did our Angostura bitters, which we learned is not infused vegetables. Great question. And again, we're doing 2 ounces. If you did get the jigger from Collins and Coop, there is not a 2 ounce mark. Totally fine. If you flip over again to the small side, there is a 1 ounce mark. When you're pouring into a jigger, you're going to be able to pour in just like we learned in high school about meniscus when we would bounce the drops onto a penny. You really want to be able to fill it up to the top, right? This is your cocktail. Don't jip yourself out, right? So we're doing 2 of those, right? So we did 1, the other one again. And if you, I always say this with cocktails, if you need to over pour it, that's fine. Don't under pour yourself. And again, so for this one we used Maker's 46. Maker's 46 is regular Maker's, but we then empty the entire barrel as it's cask strength, and then we add 10 French oak staves into the barrel, and then we seal it up, and then we fill the barrel back up, and we age it for an additional 9 weeks, and it's going to be in a limestone cellar. And what that does is that it creates a bigger, bolder version of Maker's. 46 is the name of the stave, the actual like piece of wood. It was like Experiment or Stave 46, and it's French oak. Maker's is aged in American, so it's really cool to have that contrast. And it has a little bit more alcohol, so it's a little bit more like, hey, how you doing on this cocktail? Cool. So we have all, yeah, what's up?
Can you use regular Maker's, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're using regular Maker's, that's absolutely, for sure. Great question.
And then what's a good sub for bitters, your Angostura bitters?
If you don't have any bitters, that's a great question. If you don't have any bitters at home, I think that you're totally fine. You can like skip it. It's not going to have this really beautiful like pink color. It's not going to have a certain like allspice. I would be really hesitant to be like, oh, just throw some like allspice in there. It's going to be a similar flavor, but I've never tried it at home. So if you don't have bitters,
Go get
maybe
some.
just go ahead, go get some. Absolutely. Order online from Collins and Coop and they'll deliver to your door. Perfect. Danny, was that the only question?
Yeah, that's it so far. Thanks.
Awesome. Cool. Absolutely. So we're going to add our ice. The reason why you add your ice last to your tins is because we want to be able to control our own dilution. So if we have room temperature ingredients and we're pouring them onto cold ice, it's going to start melting already, and it's going to start to dilute our drink more than we want, right? So we have these room temperature ingredients. We're going to put our ice in the back. For the ice, keep going. I don't know if you could actually see it, but it's in this like tin. It's about halfway up of the large tin, or you could actually almost fill up right to the top of your small tin. So ice halfway up on the large tin, or almost all the way up on the small tin. Sweet.
If you aren't fancy, an old pickle jar is.
Yes, totally. Absolutely. If you have the mason jar, that's a really great thing to do too. You can put all your ingredients in here, put the ice in, and then you can just shake from there, or a pickle jar or whatever. If you're the person that's making a full gallon of this, you're putting it into like a 2-liter bottle, that's going to work too. Perfect. So as we seal this, a lot of people, they have a little bit of trouble with like the sealing, and they go straight down your sealing of a cocktail tin. So you actually want to, so you see it, it's straight up and down. You want to put it to the side, and then you want to give it a good seal. We're going to hit the, perfect. See the little, oh, like shook. So with this, then you know that you sealed it correctly if you can pick it up and the bottom part doesn't fully like drop off, right? When we are shaking a cocktail, you're going to see a lot of different types of shake. You're going to see like the Vegas shakes. I think if Sam was like a bartender, he would like.
That's what I'm talking
No,
about.
I wouldn't. Only 2 hands, baby. Only 2
Right?
hands.
Exactly. You only want to use 2 hands, right? So when we're doing this, it's going to feel very shake weighty. And like most things you do in your life, especially when you donate to Kitchens for Good, you should be doing it with your heart. So when you shake, you also want to be doing it with your heart and from your heart. So 1 hand on the bottom, 1 hand on the top. And it's going to feel very shake weight. But the reason that we're doing this is that we're throwing gravity down and then bringing it back up. We're using both arms, so we're not damaging our rotator cuff. If you see a lot of bartenders shake like this, what they're actually doing is damaging their rotator. But if you want to bartend for a long time and you want to make cocktails for the people that you love at home, then use both arms. And you're going to be able to shake here, not like totally up, but here.
Oh yeah, I saw that episode of South Park.
And we're going to hold up. Danny, and I might regret this, and you can definitely say no to me on this. Is there a way that we could take off everybody off of mute, and then just so we can hear everybody shaking if they're doing that. Again, if we think that's a really bad idea, then that's fine. Sam, are you shaking?
I will in a
Yeah,
second.
I can
Hold on.
unmute all. Hold on.
Okay, so we're all going to do this together. We're all going to hear everyone shaking.
Wait.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes, thumbs up.
Okay. Everyone's shaking together.
Hold on.
Places like Lincoln Sands.
Sam, why are you
Once
shaking?
in a while, we are huge Nice Steakhouse fans. I think John Cesar, who was also on.
Fantastic.
He's a great
Fantastic. You
talented
guys are killing it.
That was loud.
Very good food at his place.
Back to
And
You have the technique down, man. You are killing it.
like a lot of you say, we like to go places that don't necessarily have.
Tommy, I love your form. Like foam that's on here, right? So it should be like a little bit frothy. We're gonna take our strainer and then we're gonna be able to put it into a glass. So the strainer on here, you have, it's gonna be called the gate, and you're gonna have this and you can actually push this down. If you see this opening and whatnot, you can actually do that. And that's gonna be able to keep out any of those like other really like ice crystals. So from here, you're gonna see this kind of espresso pour. Oh my gosh, this might be a perfect wash line. Whew. All right, there we are. I think that we did it right. I think that, oh, Sam, thank you so much. Before you dive in and before you actually try it, if you have a little zester, you can just pull a little bit offside. Nobody cut themselves, be safe. But for a little aromatic, and you're gonna throw a little twist, just for aroma, throwing that there. Take your sip. I'm a huge fan. Usually when I make cocktails at home, I'm gonna do about 3 times this. And then what I'll do is that I'll just keep it bottled and it'll last for at least like 1 to 2 days. And that's something that's really cool. So you can just kind of like have that at home. Perfect.
Cheers.
Awesome. You guys are amazing. Do you have is there any other like kind of questions?
Nope, we're all good.
Oh, cool. Sorry for running over. I hope that you enjoyed the cocktail. Sam, you guys are amazing. Kitchens for Good, you're incredible. Thank you so much for having me. I hope that we raise like a ton of money in this, and thank you so much again. We really appreciate you. For me and everyone at Maker's Mark, thank you.
Thanks, Trevor.
Thank you, Trevor.
All right. What do you got?
Tommy, you're up, buddy.
I'm up.
You're up.
Am I up?
Oh boy, here we go.
Scary stuff, Sam.
Get going, buddy.
I don't know what I'm doing. So usually I just follow you and try and make it up. So we're going to make a salad. I'm going to use, I have here Argentinian. I don't know. Can you guys see that okay? Yeah. Red shrimp. I'm using a red cabbage, green cabbage, bell peppers, carrots, Asian pears, and walnuts. And I'm going to do a little sauce and toss on that. And I'm using a Japanese dressing. I love this stuff. You can find it in Asian stores. And if you want to make your own, soy sauce, sesame seed oil, a little ginger, mix in some garlic powder, and a type of citrus, be it lime or orange.
No.
Fun stuff like that. I can hear you in the background telling me no, Sam.
No. I'm talking to my dogs. I
That's
just
what I
whistled
said.
at them to say hello, and they think they're getting a treat.
So I'm just going to throw a little bit of the Japanese dressing in the pan, and we're going to warm it up. And the first thing I'm going to do is I've taken some of the shrimp and I chopped them up into half-size pieces. So these shrimp I picked up, a friend of mine is a seafood buyer for Grocery Outlet. And he called me up and said, hey, we have these wild, peeled, deveined, Argentinian deep water red shrimp. I want you to come in and try them. So I went in there and I was like, tried them. They're really good. 1 pound bag is like $8, so you can't beat that. So we have the Japanese dressing in the pan. You have to be careful because it'll caramelize and thicken up. We're going to set the pan off to the side. We're going to dump the shrimp in there, and we're just going to toss them around a little bit. Also, what I did is I left some whole.
No,
Being
yeah, I
di-
think the light is just, yeah.
Oh,
the
it's the
fluorescent
light?
light, Yeah.
How about that? Like
No,
that?
that's
Is that better? Hold it up against the black
Yeah,
shirt for
yeah,
contrast.
yeah.
I'm being directed, Sam.
Real Hollywood quality right there.
So I dump those in. We're just gonna sauce it up and toss it just a little bit.
It's a shrimp raw.
Right now, the shrimp is raw. Give it a couple of minutes and we're gonna cook it up. In the ever popular Tommy the Fishmonger to go container, we have purple cabbage, carrots, and some bell peppers. Okay. And this we're gonna toss in as well. And we're also going to toss in, let's see. I had it all set up on this beautiful plate, but you can't see it because of the lighting. So we're gonna throw in Asian pear as well for a little sweetness. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Then I'm gonna top it with chopped walnuts. So first off, give us a few more minutes. Sam, what are you working with?
Nothing. What do you mean? I didn't do anything wrong. I'm being innocent here. I'm just minding my own business, waiting for you to finish, and then I can start.
You know, while Trevor was making those drinks, you know, Sam, you know my background, full-blown alcoholic. I was like, are you kidding me? Put a straw in that bottle and get busy. But
right. Forget the stuff you can't
Dang it.
pronounce.
Where do you get Asian pears from?
oh, I got my Asian pears. Great question. Got my Asian pears from Specialty Produce. I went down there. They have the most amazing lineup going on right now for this pandemic. Open to the public as it always has been. But this morning, walking in there, they have all the tables lined up. They have plenty of staff there to help out. It's really cool.
And they hold up the dressing again. What is it?
Oh, I put the Japanese dressing in the pan before I put the shrimp in, and I brought it up to temperature. And I don't know if you can see, but it kind of thickens up in there. Let's see, right there maybe? Yeah, I don't know. Still kind of new at this stuff, Sam.
Thomas, come on, man. You've been doing this long enough now.
Tommy, well,
The
that's
fact that nobody can see what you're doing is not a problem. We love
It's a
seeing the
good thing
back.
because I actually have the prepared dish over here from Bernard at the Marine Room.
Yeah. No, you don't have any fennel pollen.
So because it's a salad, more or less, I'm going to take the cooked shrimp off. Let's see, right there. I'm going to take the cooked shrimp off, and I'm going to place it in a bowl, and I'm going to let it cool. Now, I'll tell you why I'm not doing this at home, Sam. It's because, one, I don't have the Wi-Fi and all that stuff. I just don't have it. And two, as you know, the situation with Mom, can you imagine being live and doing this and then having her walking out and going off on me and yelling? That'd be awesome too. Japanese dressing back in the pan. Just a little splash. Then I'm going to take all of the cabbage, bell peppers, and carrots, and I'm going to dump it in there. We're going to mix it up. I'm going to grab the rest of it. There we go. I'm going to mix it up. What's happening in Little Italy, Sam? You got Not Tacos still going, right? Doing deliveries?
Yeah, I know. It's sadly, it's very quiet in Little Italy. But sadly, it's very quiet everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
This is what it is. And the only thing that, it's not that it makes me feel better, but the only thing that sort of helps me get through a little bit is that everyone is going through this. And when I say everyone, I don't mean people in Little Italy or downtown or in San Diego. I mean, friends all over the world, people all over the world are suffering through this together.
Right.
And this is something that's, you know, my grandchildren will be told about, and hopefully just be told about. They won't have to experience their own. Hopefully
Sam,
there's lessons that we're all learning from this.
Sam, have you, I mean, obviously it's really interesting. Whenever I go to Not Tacos, it seems the people that are the biggest fans to be there are people that are like traveling from all over, and it's amazing, like hearing their stories that they came to San Diego to see you. And has there been anyone have you had more people reach out now that there's more people at home, and it's like a lot of people are using the time to pass the time by cooking?
Yeah, you know what, Trevor? Look, our YouTube channel and clearly the internet knows no bounds. You know, we just hit a 1.7 million subscribers, and obviously that's not just San Diego. You know, there's not that many people in San Diego, and B, there's not that many people in San Diego that want to follow me. So it's made up of people all over the world, and we've been fortunate that people come to San Diego on vacation or business, and they come to None of the Tacos because they're a fan of the YouTube channel. And yes, literally in this past week, 2 people have reached out from Spain, 2 completely different parts of Spain, to suggest recipes. Can you do this? We'd love to see this. We're fans of the show. It amazes me that the world somehow is that big.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
50 years ago, 30 years ago, the world was a much bigger place. Now it's a phone call, it's a Zoom, it's a Skype, it's a FaceTime away. And if we're learning anything from this, for me, it's that we're staying much closer to those that we care about and that we love, and checking in with people that honestly we may not have checked in for any other reason before this virus.
Speaking of that, I think we should check in with Tommy.
Go ahead, Tommy.
Look at that.
There he is.
There he is.
So I sauteed, simmered, whatever you call it. Again, I'm not a chef. I'm a fish monk. Wait, we have a question?
Yeah, we do. How much dressing did you use? Did you say?
I used a splash, not a dash, of the dressing. A small ramekin, maybe, like that is what I did.
And then are you trying to saute the or steam?
I was. So the question is, am I trying to saute or steam? I'd have to Google that because I don't know the difference. Because again, I'm a fish guy. I'm just softening it up. Then I'm going. Go ahead, Sam. You got something to say?
I'd say
No, I was I was laughing. I love it.
I'm taking the Asian pears and I'm going, and I'm just going to sprinkle them in there a little bit. And then I'm going to take the walnuts as well. And I'm going to put a little bit in there. But then, hold on. We're going to put it back on the heat for just a minute. We're going to stir it up just a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to plate it up. I guess I can plate it up over here on the stove, right? Let me see. Yeah, can you hold that? Oh, I got an assistant, Sam. I'm big time now.
Yeah, you are.
So let's see. So I don't know if you can see it. Okay.
Oh, we can see it.
All right. So this is what I got. There's walnuts in there already, carrots, bell peppers, green cabbage. Hold on.
Yeah.
We're going to take the shrimp that we cooked earlier. We're going to put those across the top like this. Okay. And I had the shrimp setting out. Why are you laughing? Looks great, she says, Sam. We're going to throw some more on here. Hold on. It's all nice and cool. We're going to take a couple more walnuts, spread them across the top, and then
Look at you.
for presentation, we'll just put a couple more cold Asian pears on there. That's what I got. I don't know. Can you guys see that okay?
Wow, that's amazing.
That's beautiful, Thomas. Who knew that you had that in you?
I watch a lot of your videos.
Yeah, I've never made that.
Hey, Tommy, when is that going to be available at the Goals game next season? Or are we? I don't know if you know this, but you and I are both big hockey fans, and I want to eat that at a Goals game.
I'll give it to Billy Butter, and we'll have him bring it in, or we'll get a hold of Double D Derek Dawson and the Gulls there and see if we can get it in there for you.
Perfect. I love it.
Cool, man. So again, quick recap on the dish: green cabbage, purple cabbage, a little bit of carrots, some bell peppers, simmer, saute, whatever you want to call it in the sauce. Adding the shrimp and walnuts and Asian pear. I love Asian pear with a slice of tuna on it and stuff like that. It's really cool. But the most important thing about this whole virtual Dinners for Good, I got to read this again because it was super cool when I heard about it. I've been involved with Kitchens for Good for a very long time. Since March 30th, they've given out, donated over 18,000 meals, 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's insane, and we couldn't do it without all of you watching, all the vendors, everybody donating. Of course, Sam and Trevor with the Wasted event and all the other dinners that we've done now down here. Mary Beth, thank you as always for blasting it out on social media. You're a doll. I don't know. That's what I got. Sam, I think you're up next. Are you okay?
Thank you, Thomas.
Sam, do you want me to give you an intro or?
No, I got my own intro. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to make up for
I'm
just going to try and make up for the extra time, Trevor, that you took in the Maker's Mark.
You told me on our test call yesterday. You said I feel like that's a lot of time. Like, I think you were asking me for help. I was asking questions about. You were asking me questions.
I will now try and rush my way through this, and I think people
take your time.
And by the way, just let me say this right off the bat.
Not by the way. When he says that, it's going to be a long time. And by
No,
the way,
it's not. No. It's just going to be a slam against you. When we talked about this, when the Kitchens for Good people said, what do you guys want to make? I chimed in right away with my shrimp curry noodle thing. Tommy, you said you're going to do some tuna thing. The fact that you showed up tonight with with shrimp, like I'm doing, and you went first is a little BS. I'm not comfortable with that. I wanted to give the people at home a different experience. They didn't need to know 17 dishes all made with tuna, but whatever, you're going to do what you're going to do, and that's the way it's going to be. So, enough of that.
Come from a can.
No more. Shut his mic off. Now it's time for me to show you how to make my dish. So, here's what we have. This is chicken broth that I'm heating. If Trevor hadn't gone so long, I would have shown you this going into the pot. But any kind you want that will get you started will be fine. So to this, we're going to add a can of coconut milk. And I've already taken the lid off of this. And the interesting thing is I use this one-armed Rosley can opener. And what I like about it is when the lid comes off, this top edge of the can is completely smooth. You can't cut yourself. So to 2 cups of chicken broth, we add 1 can of the coconut milk. We're also going to use our chili garlic sauce. I'm doing this with one hand. This is called talent, Tommy. You can buy garlic sauce.
I don't have any.
Stop it. You can buy garlic sauce. You can buy chili garlic sauce. I think the chili garlic just gives you one more little upgrade of flavor. So we'll put about a tablespoon in here. That looks about like that to me. And we're going to add curry powder. Oh, this is going to be difficult. Sorry. Oh, crap. Hold on. I can do this.
You got this. Use your teeth. Use your teeth.
No, I can't do that. Hold on. So I bought these little tins. I have a million of these little tins that I keep my spices and herbs in. So here we go.
Why do you use the little tins? I'm actually curious on that. Is there a reason for that?
Okay, well, I'll show you because it lets me keep a whole bunch of them like this in a small space. And this little apartment that we're in Little Italy doesn't have a lot of room, so it's a good way to do this. And these things were inexpensive, and I like them. So we're going to go with about a tablespoon. It looks like that to me of curry powder. And
oh my God.
It always looks like more when you're not there. So this we now mix.
Sam, I think we had a question come through. Is what do you do with the rest of the spice that doesn't fit in that little tin?
Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me do this on camera. I like to go to markets that sell the spices by bulk. Cool. If you go to a store and you buy one of these things, for example, I had to buy this. I was stuck the other day. red chili flakes. This is probably $5, $6, $7, $8. The equivalent amount that would fit in this jar out of a bulk bin is about 80, 90 cents. So I buy what I need in a little plastic bag. I bring it home, I fill it up, and I'm good.
I used to buy what I need in a little plastic bag too, but now I'm.
We know, and that's why you have a checkered life, Thomas. Wait, I just want to show off what's going to be on my YouTube channel tomorrow. It's not 100% finished, but this is my banana bread.
Whoa.
I'll share one secret with you. This beautiful piece of banana that's across the top, I'm going to put brown sugar on this and brulee it with a little torch, like a creme brulee, but that's going to be fantastic. Okay.
I heard it's good if you pour some Maker's Mark on it. That's just a rumor. But
don't worry about that. Okay. This little pan right here is going to get the red pepper that I told everybody that they should have. And it's going to look like this. I put a little avocado oil in that pan, and then I'm going to add this red pepper. And the red pepper is going to figure prominently in the presentation and finishing of this dish. So we're good there. So that's cooking. This is cooking. Give this a little stir. And what's going to happen in a couple seconds, in a little bit, you're going to see that when we start adding things, this curry coconut broth is going to start to thicken beautifully. And one of the things that's going to help it, trying to hurry things along because you guys went long, are our ramen noodles. Look, a 79-cent pack of ramen noodles. We're going to save the little seasoning pack in the cupboard for something else. But this is going to go in here, just like that. Now, one thing that I don't think that I put on the recipe that I would like to add, stand by, is this. Who knows what these are? Wontons. Look, I love using what you've got. And I did this once, and I had these wontons in my freezer, and I thought, why can't I add these? So you just take a handful of these, you add them to the broth. I'm telling you, this is going to be like the most delicious, filling, amazing broth that you've ever had, filled with noodles and wontons and everything delicious. And shrimp. What Tommy wasn't supposed to use tonight, I will now add. The shrimp are going to go in. I don't know that there's an easier recipe than this. Everything just goes in all at once. And by the way, which Tommy chose not to talk about, shrimp come by how many there are in a pound. And these are 16 20s, means that there's between 16 and 20 per pound. The smaller the number, the bigger the shrimp. The bigger the number, the smaller the shrimp. Everybody get that? No questions out there? You can see our noodles are starting to soften.
We do have a question. We have one question. Can you talk about the difference between avocado oil and just using plain old olive oil or canola oil? Why would you use avocado oil?
Yes, of course. I have a second. Stand by. Hold on. Just let me toss my red pepper. Leave those happening. This is going to happen here beautifully. Let me come back and talk to you in person. Hi, everybody. Okay. Here's the deal. When you use oil, you're using oil for one of a couple different reasons. One is for strict, and I say this and people go, can you find a better way to put it? But I can't, because this will make sense, I think, right away when I say it. The first reason you use oil for is just straight lubrication. Make all the jokes you want, but that's true. You're cooking onions, red onions in a pan, mushrooms in a pan to go on a burger or a steak. And while I say that, by the way, if you're not using red onions and mushrooms on top of a burger, you're making like some legitimate mistakes. The other reason you want to use oil is for flavor. And that would be like a good extra virgin olive oil on top of a steak. Like I like a little filet cooked, for me, medium rare, drizzled with some really good extra virgin olive oil, maybe with some crumbled blue cheese on top. That's my thing. I love that. But when you cook, when you saute, when you stir fry, and you're using high heat, you want an oil that has a high smoke point. The oil with the high smoke point is avocado oil. It smokes at somewhere near 500 degrees. If you used olive oil, for example, it would smoke at a way lower temperature. The problem is when it starts to smoke, it starts to burn and the flavor changes, and that colors what you're making. Changes the flavor of your shrimp, your mushrooms, whatever it is that's in the pan. So for my everyday cooking, I use 100% avocado oil. I save the olive oil for salad dressings, if that's what I want, or finishing. And I only use extra virgin olive oil for finishing, that kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Sam, do you want to can I throw one more note onto that?
Yeah, I love it.
Is that okay? So just so everyone knows, in the time that it takes for Sam to describe types of olive oil, you can actually donate. So I just donated $100. Why he was describing all. So in the time that Sam, the cooking guy, can describe certain types of olive oil, you can donate. So I think the more questions that you ask, the more time that we can have. So just I do love that though. So thank you for that long description. It was somewhere. I got lost, but I know that I finished before your description. So it's that easy to donate in that time.
Attaboy. Look, Trevor makes an amazing point. Look, we're here doing this. We're not asking for any money. And Kitchens for Good is not asking for any money. They're just saying, if you are so inclined, if you have a few bucks in your pocket, we would love you to pull it out and donate it to the organization tonight. That would be a good thing. That would make them feel good about what they're doing. That would let them put together more meals for people that seriously are in need right now. And that might entice Tommy to come back and copy some other chef's ingredient and make whatever the hell they're making the same night they make it. So
love
we just had a question pop up that was, can we say out loud how to do it? So I just went to the Kitchens for Good website. As soon as I jumped on, it said learn more about COVID-19. You can click on that, and then it pulls you to a thing that says, do you either donate or do you want to learn more? So donate is the first one that's on there. I believe it's a green button. So I clicked on that. So just Kitchens for Good, COVID-19, hit the donate. It took me right to there. Yeah, but I think we need to give Tommy a second to rebuttal. I think you've been a little bit mean to him, and I feel like he's always been the nicest of people that I've met. So Tommy, what do you got to say?
Go ahead, Thomas.
First off, Trevor, I think you're totally full of it, because I'm definitely not the nicest guy you ever met. Yeah, again, we're not here to drum up and telethon. We're just here to tell a story. And like Sam had touched base earlier, there's so many restaurants in the city of San Diego that have hired graduates coming out of Kitchens for Good. And, they're not looking for a handout. They're looking for a hand up, is the old saying. But these folks, all they want to do is get in the kitchen and learn knife skills, life skills, job training, and have a future. And it all starts right here at Kitchens for Good. But actually, it all starts with the general public. You folks that are out there watching us tonight, and everybody that's giving and donating, I would like to add that if you have a chance to come to a graduation, please come to a graduation at Kitchens for Good when they have class graduating. And I'm going to tell you guys, this is specifically for the men, okay? Y'all need to bring some Kleenex, because you will lose it while you're at this graduation and you hear these stories of these young adults making a transition back into society. I can say that because I was making a transition back into society not so long ago when I was released from incarcerated. And for those that know my story is told at every single graduation from all the graduates here. So please find the time, find when graduation's happening, come down. Lunch is on them. They have free lunch. It's kind of cool, and you get to hear some stories. And we'll see all kinds of people that come in and the families and all of that. So again, with that, what are you doing, Sam? You burning anything yet?
I'm ready to plate. Can I do this?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Tommy, and by the way, good words, Thomas. Always appreciated when you speak from the heart about stuff like that. Okay, so in my bowl first, just a couple whacks of the noodles. And we go. Try and be as neat as I can. Now some shrimp are gonna go in.
My mouth is watering from afar.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Right, so we got the shrimp. Now we've got these wontons. And by the way, look, if you don't eat meat, you can use veggie wontons. You can use any kind you like. So now that you've got all the main components in, the noodles, the wontons, and the shrimp, now we're going to come in with some of the broth on top, because this is really a super gorgeous part of this whole thing and helps make it. I don't need more noodles. Please, everybody, just work with me. Here we go. Boy, they got to be difficult.
Work with me here, folks.
Sam,
Here we go. So now the last
Sam,
couple.
we
Yeah.
got a couple questions, Sam.
Okay,
How
should I
many,
stop
how many
plating?
packs of noodles did you use?
How many packages of noodles did you use in that?
Oh, I used 1 pack of noodles. And this
One-
will easily serve 2 people, maybe 3, and potentially 4 if you serve a salad or, other stuff with it. Okay, so now that you've got that, hold on. Now these red peppers that now have some gorgeous color on them and are softened, and nothing else. There's nothing else that went into these. So these go on top. Because not only is the color beautiful, but the flavor of these peppers is just true and gorgeous and amazing. So now I have 2 things here. I have some cilantro that I've cut because I'm a huge cilantro fan. We'll do that on top. Spread it out a little better than I just did. And some green onions that are my favorite vegetable ever, sliced on the bias. And there you go. And I think that is just like a really beautiful, delicious tasting, full of flavor dish that honestly went together in about 20 minutes.
Wow.
If I wasn't talking and paying more attention, I might have gotten to it a little quicker, but I don't know. I don't think you can beat this. You can't beat Tommy's salad. You put this with Tommy's salad and Trevor's cocktail, and I think you're having a great night. And that's the point of these dinners, to show you things that you can actually do at home that are going to taste good and going to be delicious. And hold on, I have one last thing to do, which any chef needs to do. I have to grab a fork and have a bite right here. It's going to be hot. It's always hot. I can't help it.
I love it when you take a bite of hot stuff and it finally gets you to be quiet.
Okay, let me tell you something. If I went to a restaurant and I ordered off the menu and that showed up at the table, I would be so damn happy. So damn happy. So make it at home. It's easy. Look, you can keep shrimp frozen in your freezer. They defrost in water in about 20 minutes. The wontons in your freezer, they went into the soup frozen. And the ramen in my pantry, look, 79 cents a pack. You can't beat this. This is not just a cheap, but a super delicious meal.
Amazing.
That's good
And
stuff.
Well
Good
done.
stuff,
look,
Sam.
It's a 6:30. It's 6:29. I think we did okay.
You did great. I want to
Yeah.
thank everyone so much for coming to our second virtual Dinners for Good. I hope you had as much fun as I did, and enjoyed yourself. Thank you all so much for those of you who donated. And I want to give a shout out to our next Dinners for Good. Mark your calendars, if you still look at calendars these days, for April 30th. We've got our next one scheduled, and we have got Sarah Harris, the executive chef of Urban Sea, who's going to be coming and cooking along with us should be delicious. We'll announce the rest of the lineup soon, but it'll be really fun. I know 2 weeks from now sounds like an eternity, but I hope to see you all there. So thank you all so much for coming, and thank our chefs.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks for
Trevor,
having us.
see you at
Thank
the
you,
game.
Thomas. Thank you, Trevor.
You guys are
Thanks,
amazing. It was good.
See you guys.
Absolutely.
We'll see you at the games, Trevor.
Oh,